Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to Movie Innerstandings. You know, this is Achi Low, you know what I'm talking about? And is everybody or everybody. It ain't everybody. What is you you know what? I ain't I ain't I ain't doing this with you today, Yurt. Yurt. Alright. Try to do me. But my name is Precious. Peace and the precious. You know, so um this strong, we doing Drishyam, you know. Peace to the chief, you know what I'm talking about, and peace Leon, you know, and peace and Manai, you know, and give thanks for that, my precious, you know, and it's basically visuals can be deceptive, right? And in this movie, you're gonna see a lot of visuals, um, and a lot of things that are deceptive to you. Um, Also, a saying, "Never judge a book by its cover," also comes to mind. You know what I'm talking about? And oh well, give thanks. You know, Drishyam has been. This is a remake. You know, there was one before it, and then they just came out with a sequel, but they just didn't use the same actors. You know, they didn't use Achi in them. But it's also a sequel. I watched it, but didn't watch it. I gotta finish it. You know, um, I watched Jesus. I watched this movie with no subs. No subs. I saw the only word I understood was habeas corpus. So put us up on the guy. Okay. Well, you know this is a Hindi or Indian movie. The setting is India, of course, but to be specific, it's the state of Goa. So for those that don't know, the state of Goa is on the southwestern side of India, and it was colonized actually by the Portuguese or the Portuguese. You know, their state capital is Panaji, and you would hear them talking about going to Panaji in the movie. You know, but that's the state capital. You know, of the state of Goa. You know, but it's and one of the second major cities is Vasco da Gama, who is an explorer. You know, but you know, usually when we think of, you know, the colonization of India, we think of the British, but no, the Portuguese was there too. You know, they were in the Southwest, and you notice if you pay attention to Mira's last name, it was de Souza. You already know that was a Portuguese last name, but so you already know who was there. You know, yes, there are two sequels, but we take a look at VJ. You know, VJ um, is actually a want to say cable company manager or whatever. Um, he basically it's it's like he runs like an outpost of Comcast. You know, make sure all the movies is up and running and people are basically got their cable on and paying their bills and things like that. You know, so one thing you know about VJ is, you know, he's a fourth grade dropout and he's an orphan, you know, and these things count against him in his culture, you know. But he's doing well for himself because you could say he's a business owner, you know, he's you know, and things like that. And he's very liked among his the people in his community, you know, and he helps people out. Like when Chief was talking about, you know, he understood habeas corpus. What he's talking about is elder couple came and basically into the restaurant that VJ was in, and they were like, "Well, my son got arrested, and it was illegal, and we don't know how to fight it." So VJ, because he watched a lot of movies and things like that, he talked about, well, you can, talk, say that, because of habeas corpus, you know, in an illegal arrest, you can say, to, the basically a lawyer or whatever, that, my son was arrested illegally and they're holding him and detaining him, um, without giving him habeas corpus. I couldn't tell what that fool did for a living besides watch movies and have lots of equipment in that office. That's what it was. I want to say it's like, oh, remember, it's like old school television, you know, it's like old school TV or old school cable companies, where they had offices and, they had a bunch of equipment to, put on movies and things like that. That's the way I saw it. He was a cable guy, or basically the owner of a cable company, for his little town or whatever, So that's what he did, you know what I'm saying? To make life moves. Exactly. He used exactly. Just Deirdre, he did use movies to make life move. And which showed you that it wasn't just he used movies to make life moves. He used movies to educate himself. And when we talk about education, you know what I'm talking about? We're talking about bringing out basically the genius out of you. And by watching these movies and whatnot, or watching these TV shows, he was able to bring genius out of himself. You know what I'm saying? And with actually having, you could say, photographic memory of these movies, he can, find a movie for every situation. Sometimes what I do, I sort of do that for y'all. When I look at, Sister Deirdre, Come to America, Elia. My name is Elia because she's like the elegant one out the room, with the air wraps. My name is Elia, and then it just pops in my head, what I'm talking about. Or like from Master Million, I always call him Pretty Tony, from the Mac, because you ain't no pimp, you rest, it just pops in my head just like that. That I do that same thing, what I'm talking about. So yeah, but that's what that scene is talking about in the beginning of the movie, right? And so he helps them out, which is going to cause a problem, because there's a cricket car called Gaitonde, and that was the one who arrested that couple's son, what I'm saying? But he don't like VJ anyway, they always at odds. You know what I'm saying? But VJ has a family. He has a wife and 2 daughters, Anju and Anu. I was surprised she didn't say that, but I understood. I do. But yeah, the little one, the youngest child is called Anu. You know what I'm saying? And Anju is the adopted daughter, who you find out in the movie. She was tossed in a dumpster, and VJ found her and adopted her, what I'm talking about. So, and of course the wife is called, it's named Nandini, and so, one thing you see that was interesting is that, they go visit their in-laws, and Nandini, indirectly uses her father and mother to suggest to VJ about having the kids go to Catholic school. To this Catholic school. But VJ, he's like, no, and so she's like, you can't scrimp and save on this one, because VJ is economical in that way. He's thrifty, what I'm talking about. But he's like, one thing that was interesting, he's like, you know, you got a doctorate and I got a uh, fourth grade education. You know, I'm a fourth grade dropout, and I know how to say some words that you can't. You know, and that was a big, that was big shame. You know, when he talked about that. Yeah, that was just regular man right now. Though. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, all the women have on and that. Yeah, yes, they do. So I found that part interesting, especially if you've had like a parent or a grandparent that didn't have school training, from pre-K to high school. They dropped off at some point in their life, but they're sharper and more educated than the graduates. Like VJ's wife was a doctorate, and he was he was more smarter than her. You know what I'm talking about? You find that sometimes, you know. But we see, we finally meet Guy Tunde, right? And he's a crooked cop. He don't pay, he don't pay his tab, at the common restaurant that they use. Say, and put, oh, so the owner's like, well, are you gonna sell your bill? He's like, okay, I'm selling my bill right now. How much is it? And they give him a number and whatnot, and said, oh, well, just take it as my contribution of letting these contractors, eat here. They eat here because I spread the word out. Real shiesty stuff. What I'm talking about. And things like that. But also, what was interesting as well. Anju goes to a nature retreat. And she's a representative for her school, and she's meeting all these people, all these other kids from different schools, who they are representatives of, and they're having fun. But there's this one dude named Sam, and he a shiesty dude. Always got his camera around, his camera phone. Always got cell phone out, and you see, it's always in the girl's face, and the girls don't like that, which shows, disrespect, in that culture, if you ask me. Always got your phone out. You always got to be careful of that, when people always got their phone out and act like they ain't, looking certain ways, but they are looking certain ways to, catch you off guard, taking pictures of you, you know. Yeah, he did call him a black man, but we ain't gonna talk about it. I'm not going into the cultural isms with, because that in itself will be all day, But yes, what I'm talking about. And look, one that close. Well, yeah, just leave that one alone. But you know, but she meets Sam again, and he shows her his phone, and he shows her that he took a video of her showering, and for her, she's she's shocked or whatever, Yeah, he was real slumped off doing that. He looked suspect from jump. Of course, he looked suspect. You know what I'm talking about? But I wasn't too mad because I didn't like that. Yeah, you just can't get easily triggered like that, and I guess you don't know the context because you're not part of the culture. But yeah, um yeah, they did a demolition, bruh, man. So, he's like, I'm gonna meet you later on tonight, And so he meets her later on that night at her house, basically in not house, not actual bathroom, but just in that house, like a utility closet, utility room, things like that, restore, tools and stuff. That's what it looked like. But she brings her mother, because she's basically being blackmailed and whatnot. Peace, Master Minglet, and but it was because of his known privilege. His mom was the biggest crook. Yeah, man. I mean, we'll get into Mirror. We'll get into Mirror. You know what I'm talking about? But they try to get the phone away from him, and then hey, Anju, well, first, he blackmails her mom, like, okay, you want this, this video deleted, you got to do something now. So what does Anju do? bashes his head to the white meat with a lead pipe. You know what I'm talking about? One hit a quitter and bam, dead instantly. You know what I'm talking about? And so her and her mom, they get rid of the body in a sense. They bury it. But while they're doing it, Anu was watching from the terrorists. The little kids watching. You know what I'm talking about? And so once VJ comes home and see, the girls, the shelf and whatnot, and they tell him what happens, you know what I'm saying? He goes into, father mode and straight, you know what I'm talking about? Getting rid of the evidence, you know what I'm saying? And, from A to Z, telling them, okay, see any blood around this, like the homie watched CSI, you know what I'm talking about? He got rid of the dang on car, got rid of the dang on sim chip, you know what I'm saying? Brahmins, Castrias, Basias, Sudras, and Untouchables. There's a whole caste coalition in display. Yeah, and usually, that whole caste system also goes with colorism. You know what I'm talking about, Chief? But it's the caste system is just deep. You know what I'm talking about? But VJ was 10 steps ahead at all times. Yeah, but his movements, was always geared about covering his family. You know what I'm talking about? And covering, his wife and his daughter, his other daughter and his youngest daughter. You know what I'm talking about? And so he functioned not emotional. While you saw the girls, they were hyperventilating and stuff. He's just proactive. Just like, okay, he's just acting just on site, you know what I'm talking about? Which you have to be, you know what I'm saying? You can be in an emotional state when an emergency or danger happens. You have to be able to think logically and calmly during the situation. You know what I'm saying? So you can really function, because otherwise we ain't gonna talk about criminal behavior, but with anything, you ain't gonna be able to function at your peak performance. You know what I'm saying? But hey, sometimes when you gotta cover your family, you may have to do a crime, or a crime according to the state or the dominant society or cultural statutes of a state. You know what I'm talking about? To me, like I said, man, this was just bus justice. You had a dude trying to blackmail a girl, taking a video of her without her consent, and because of his privilege and because of his mom, you know what I'm saying, he thought he could do anything. You know what I'm talking about? VJ read the menu. VJ didn't read the manual because VJ got You know what I'm saying? He didn't read the blackmail manual. Usually when you read the blackmail manual, you don't do face to face. You don't do a face to face. What is like, really? What is you doing, bro? Like, you really don't do a face to face or whatever. You want to be inconspicuous and whatnot. Stay in the shadows. He shows up. But let's get to I'm talking about and the IG of Goa, Inspector General, whatever. Uh Mira, Mira D'Souza, I'm talking about. From jump, we see her torturing, two suspects, for basically you say perjury, you know. Um I don't know if that's lawful in in India, but she was doing it anyway. But you could already see that she was crooked, what I'm talking about. And Mira, was a mutated masculinized female. You look. She's already she's a cop. She doesn't have no femininity, even if she got all that dang on hair and it's hers. even if she got curves in certain places, you can tell by her stern look and manner, that she's masculinized, and she's in a field where she's masculinized and kills her femininity. You know what I'm talking about? So Deirdre say, mirror is what happens when women relishes in a man's role. She didn't even pay attention to the type of person her son was until it was too late. Yeah, that was another thing. Here you have, two families. I sort of saw this pretty much as family warfare, or two families at war. One is led by the patriarch, and one is led by the matriarch. Because if you paid attention, Mira's husband Mahesh, what I'm saying, it seemed like he was always referring to her direction. You pretty much saw who wore the pants in their household. just being real, what I'm saying. But he was the one that was worried about his son, which came off real maternal, in a sense. Usually it's the woman that is worried about the kid. Did you make it here? Call here. And then your dad is like, he all right. He okay. But here, he's the one that's worried. We ain't heard from him and such. And it's Mira that's like, he's all right. He does this all the time, what I'm saying? Or whatever. Deirdre also says, the mother didn't make the love connection through spirit. Instead, she tried to do it through material things. So he was anchored to the earth and what he desired. But himself, no boundaries and bully people. Yeah, sometimes that's the detriment of parents, in the sense where they probably don't have the nurturing, loving gene or whatever, or aspect, and so they sort of show so-called love through material things, and that doesn't help the child or the relationship between parent and child. You just give your child anything and everything, that deals, with their psyche. And as you can see, he had you could say, a superiority complex, because he could get away with anything because his mom was, IG or Goa, and and wasn't nobody gonna mess with him, because don't nobody want to mess with my mom. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Because they'll instantly take his side, and think he's innocent. You know what I'm saying? I was surprised it took so long to start looking for some there, but he had such a long leash, or no leash at all. But that was the reason why, because he's done, like I said in the movie, he's done this before. So of course, his father was concerned, as you saw, but the thing was his mother, or he listened to her, which he probably, which he shouldn't have. He listened to her. It was like he does this all the time. We can't infringe on his freedom, you know, female stuff. We can't infringe on his freedom and things like that, or he'll really run away. Where your father's probably starting to be like, F all that. Boy, you better be in, you better be in this house, or you better not come back at all. Stern fathers, be like that. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, it was all okay. Emma P says, you know what I'm talking about? The fact they pleaded with him showed their docile nature as women. They submitted to him, but in many ways they bullied and disrespected the father of, the father VJ. Yeah, well, because basically he's a fourth grader, fourth grade dropout and an orphan. They feel like they can do anything to him. Sometimes to be an orphan is to be a leper. In certain cultures. We got the view of two families and what it looked like when they function in proper roles or dysfunction in those roles, as we see with Mira and Mahesh. You know what I'm talking about? But one thing I like, like I say, VJ is schooling, his women, his wife and daughter. He's schooling the girls, act normal, because they're emotional. Women are emotional beings, but they committed the crime, and things like that. But it's VJ getting rid of the body, and then they ask, "What you do with it? What you do with Sam?" And he's like, "Who's Sam? I don't know him." And he says, they say 8 minute, which means wait a minute, but be like 8 minute, 8 minute, 8 minute. You always got to act normal. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you got to act normal. You got to act like, it's a normal day. You have no problems and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta, really, act like, nothing's happened. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, So let's see what was said. Okay, we got that one. Nadine wasn't perfect because she was real slick with her mouth, but when stuff got sticky, she knew to do what she was told. Yeah, she, look, not all women, they gonna mumble and grumble, but they, they gonna walk these dolls and represent Woo. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. True. If the daughter is covered, there is no excuses for foul behavior. So if it is present, you are automatically know there is failed parenting. Yeah. And what we see in Anju, she's a good kid. Anju's a good kid. She just wanted to go on a retreat. She wanted to do, high school stuff. Just meet people and things like that. She didn't ask for all of that. Sovereignty says Mira was also disconnected to him. See, in her fixation on battling VJ and proving him wrong for hours and interrogation over an actual search for Sam. Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. It ceased. It sort of was like it ceased to actually be about looking for the child or trying to save the child. You know what I'm saying? Even with the investigation. You know what I'm saying? Which was interesting. You know what I'm saying? How was this? Look, we're gonna use court terms. How was this in the best interest of the child? you would look, like Chief would say, you wouldn't do this if you really loved them. You wouldn't do that if you really loved them. And you see that with Mirror. If you really loved your son, what I'm saying, you wouldn't let him have all that freedom. More importantly, what I'm talking about, you wouldn't keep on with that interrogation or many interrogations, even knowing the actual character of your son. What I'm saying? In spite of all that, what I'm saying? Let's see. My man Andrew did play into going. Yeah, well, Chief said more than one time, women are the biggest suckers. Here you have a guy, he's thrifty, so because he's thrifty, and if you ever had a thrifty father before, he's gonna really question whether you need to go do something or whether you need this, whether you need to buy that, because he ain't gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that, What you want? I want you don't need that. I'm true indeed. He covered them completely, coached them through how to move past the fear and everything. Yeah, because he knew one thing. He knew that he knew. Look, this goes out, to the East Coast. He knew the Jace was coming. You know what I'm talking about? He knew the Jace was gonna come. You know what I'm talking about? For the East Coasters in the room, he knew the Jace was gonna come. So he had to get them ready. Like, man, don't be fearful. Like, even when the police come to the house, and it wasn't even for arrest. You got Andrew folded under pressure. She about to break down and cry. And then what? You instantly see the covering of her father when he stands in front of her and talks to the cop. And they really just want to talk to BJ anyway. On some friendly, friendly neighborhood police officer side of the game. She put that story together real good. Yeah, she put the story together. But I mean, it was a calculated story or a calculated move to make anyway, because you have to be very calculated. You know what I'm saying? Going to Panjani. Hope I'm saying it right. Panjani. It should be Panjali. To go see the sermon and whatnot. They wanted to go anyway, but now they really got a reason to go. Or just let's get our story straight. Let's get our alibis together, what I'm talking about. So we can cover we can cover our tracks as a family, what I'm talking about. She was arrested. She just cried, just disheveled, bro. You know what I'm saying? The only cool one, at least the only one that wasn't like that was I knew. I knew it was pretty much the G out of all of it. You know what I'm talking about? BJ covered them after the fact. He left his family uncovered on a regular basis and had to do the cleanup. It showed how quickly things can go left. You're right about that, Master Minion Leg. I mean, he left his family with, because, he was doing the cable thing, but also because, he would always leave the phone unhooked, old school phones, even though, his movie was made, in 2014, 2015, in the movies 2014, but they still got the old school phone, but you gotta unhook that. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, in some parts of the world, they still working with that, in a sense. So he just unhooked it because he didn't want to hit nobody at the late night, and because they would kept on calling him, and he would just say, "Oh, the phone's not working." He just he just unhooked it, or whatever. He had that one hole in security, and that's when the snake got in. Yeah, for sure. Swami G. Yeah, the Swami. to being done. So, we have that, and then like I say, you have Mirror interrogating VJ and the people that VJ know, and they all say the same thing about him. He's a good guy. He's stand-up guy. You know what I'm saying? What was cool about VJ and his memory was that he used information to cover his tracks, like when he dipped when he dipped the whip, when he dipped that whip in basically in the quarry or the lake quarry. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, his brother-in-law hooked him up with that information. Just passing by information, but it was it helped him out. You know what I'm saying? Of having no community. The man may be away, but we should be tucked away and safe. They were not. Well, yes, I would say there was no buffer zone to the house. It was too easy for Sam to get to that dang house, and nobody paid attention to it. So in aspect of community or covering up from community, there should have been like neighbors, like who that is. Who is that? Going. We don't know them. No, let's go find out. Sometimes that's what good thing for nosy neighbors, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they were in their own home, but yeah, their own home wasn't properly protected. Because anybody, a little snot-nosed kid was able to, get in and cause all this ruckus. You know what I'm talking about? If they're just say, if the game was tight, it wouldn't matter if he was physically there or not, because they would have been moving accordingly. Yeah, if Mac is strong, you can't. I should not be doing that with you. But yes, if your game is tight, and the women were moving accordingly, that situation wouldn't happen. Nobody saw the big. I know, right? Like you didn't see that. Oh, you said Big Bird. I'm thinking about that yellow. I never knew the make of that dang on carpet. That yellow car in the dang on Sesame Street movie. Nobody didn't see that dang on car coming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, apparently it was a popular color. Sometimes you just take cars, however you can get them. Some people just like loud color cars for no reason. You know what I'm talking about? But you have that, but even with the investigation. What I like is that school scene where you have Anju. At first she's being emotional, as she's going to the principal's office, and then she remembers her father's words, and then she just straight solid soldier. Ain't don't know nothing about nothing. Oh, she knows who Sam is. She tells them who Sam is. She even tells the police that Sam had an issue of basically videotaping girls, and he was called upon it, but yeah, she didn't fold in pressure that time, you know what I'm saying? The sloppy jalopy. Yes, the sloppy jalopy. Thank you, G. The sloppy jalopy. Yeah, that was Oscar. It was a Volkswagen Beetle. Thank you. I forgot the name of that. Yeah, you tell. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that was a Volkswagen Beetle, but now the name. Oh yeah, I remember them telling me that one time, because I did ask when I was a kid, "What car is that?" Now it's coming to me, Volkswagen Beetle. what? Also, that was the make and model of the Herbie car. In that dang on Herbie and racing and whatnot. Yeah. In the principal's office. Yeah, she was much better. She used to like my father gave yeah, her and Anu did the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? Because they all go into a interrogation individually, and they all follow the directives that they were given. You know what I'm talking about? Herbert the Love Bud. There you go, Chief. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I don't know. Was it made? It was in color, but yeah, it's old movie. But yeah, seen a few of them. And individually, all the stories match. And at this point, this is like First 48. Usually, it's the if you ever watch First 48, usually it's the individual meeting with the police that usually get everybody hemmed up. But everybody got that story straight. You know what I'm saying? No punch buggy. No punch back. Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about that guy. So yeah. But like was said earlier, Mirror actually puts the story together, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, and saw, what VJ actually did, you know what I'm saying. He didn't go there with his family. He went there by himself and got all the alibis together. But that was the right thing to do in a sense to keep them covered. You know what I'm talking about? Because like he said, he was like, when he told Nandy, I guarantee you this, ain't none of y'all going to jail. Ain't none of y'all going to prison. Just staying hard on his principle of covering his family or covering, his wife and kids. You know what I'm talking about? But the police do, another interrogation, and they're tortured, beaten and whatnot. But this time, they're getting, basically fame and got reporters outside, and got the community outside, what I'm talking about, and whatnot, which was a direction that he gave his brother-in-law. Said, we getting arrested, you call these people. And all of a sudden you see, the father-in-law, the brother-in-law, all giving their accounts on what was going on, to the media. You know what I'm talking about? First 25 days. Anyway, first 25 days. This is what first 48. Them boys is a little bit precise. Saying something. They don't do much. I thought it was bringing away BJ Quaid visuals and feeds them all to the people. Yeah, he was pretty much creating a group of witnesses. Exactly. He kept on. It was basically hypnotic and putting it into their subconscious. Therefore, what I'm talking about, if they ever, get questioned by the cops, they say, oh yeah, he came here, and this is this. Hey, they corroborate with his story. You know what I'm talking about? Not only do you have receipts, actual receipts, you got alibis. You got more than one alibi. Total strangers you don't know. But they helping you out. They corroborating with your story. She only get word after a month. Exactly. Some of us want to be gone for a couple of hours. Couldn't do that. You better call me. You tell me where you at. But yeah. Homie was able to leave for a whole month. Yeah, that timeline was crazy. She was busy whipping behind. The fraud and others comment was equalized. Yeah, even like I say, even when Alex, Sam's friend, tells her, what her son was doing, she still goes on with the torture because she wants to know, what happened. She still wants to know what happened to her son and what they did with. You know what I'm saying? Not, trying to find out what did he do. Because if he did this to one girl, I'm pretty sure he did this to more than one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they love that open slap. Bow! Kick to the gut. BJ was getting it. But he was able to, because Guy Sunday was putting in that work on him, you know what I'm talking about? But then, when they had the actual stop because the press was outside, then what happened? The community was giving Guy Sunday a beat down. Like, he hit a little girl. Pow! That's what the set come right up. He did what? He hit a, So, when Guy Sunday hits, I knew tells them what, where the body was buried. So they dig up the body and all they find is a dead dog. They didn't find that body. Yeah. Maybe only chest and computer they would have figured out that he was ripping and running through the girls. Yeah, I believe so. You know what I'm talking about? So the family gets off, So now then he asks, where'd you hide the body? And we just like, I ain't telling you. that secret's going to my grave. You better not never ask me that. He did the right thing. I ain't telling you. That's going to the grave. You won't know. Even when I die, you ain't gonna know where I hid that body. Yeah. But some time passes and Sam's parents, they're leaving the country. They're going to Britain. They're going to the UK. They're going to London. Sometimes look, when you face with scrutiny, you go overseas in some cultures. When you face with scrutiny or you did something bad, you go overseas to live happily ever after, I guess. But they come to BJ and ask him, what happened to apologize. Now this is the time when the actual father is actually speaking, and he's talking to him, man to man talk, and he apologizes for everything that's happened, what they've done, but they really want to know what happened because they're coming as parents now, So all that other time they weren't coming as parents, but now they're coming as parents, and so BJ says I'm sorry, but and the truth, he don't tell them what really, but he, gives them a little bit clue. Somebody came, we tried to settle this peacefully, but they wouldn't leave, so we made sure that person wasn't gonna come back no more. In the story, what I'm talking about. And then they leave, but they got they got BJ in the clink, what I'm talking about. But they let him go, what I'm saying. And the new inspector or chief inspector of that precinct is like, man, we're gonna get you. Even I'm gonna be here a long time, but we gonna get you. We're gonna put a case on you. And he's like, man, they just like, well, I believe police protects everybody, what I'm saying? And don't worry, I believe that the police will protect me even to the grave. And then you find out that the body is actually buried under the new police station that they built. Which was ingenious, if you ask me, because I thought about it from a political standpoint. If you actually dug it up and found out that was body, and that was his body, it was like, hold on. Then he can actually say it wasn't him that did it. it was the police department that laid them low, and then they try to make you know it was a mic drop ending. But I just thought, you can instantly say it was the police that did it, because they buried them under the police station. He didn't do that. He don't got access to to that place. So, from a political standpoint, you could say, oh, the police corps, did it and they covered it up. They covered up the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I thought about. That's what my mind went. But yeah, man, that's the end. You know what I'm talking about? Which, might drop ending good, but it, like I say, it showed covering and how you cover some, your family do dire straits or a dangerous time or dangerous path, and you got to be committed to even get arrested. Nobody, you want to do a crime where you don't get arrested, but just in case you do, you got to have your story straight. Gotta have your story straight. Everybody gotta be on the same page, reading the same play, and keep your mouth shut, not snitch. And that ended up like first 48, taking directives from coach, and sticking to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, give thanks for that masculine leg. Because I know the one we're about to do next isn't as well, film wise, isn't as good, but it's cool. Join us next time. Like we a PBS channel. Join us next time. Join us next strong. We gonna do War of the Worlds. Tom Cruise version. Not the old school version. I've never seen that one. I should have watched it a long time ago. But yeah, we doing War of the Worlds. As you see already, you know what I'm talking about. Had to pick a good one. We gonna do War of the Worlds next strong. So come out for Shimon New, you know what I'm talking about. We got that tomorrow, and we gonna get it in there. And hey, Clubhouse, we on the Clubhouse with the midday affirmative. I did last strong, but and we got DJ Shmoney on the ones and twos. I'm talking about that dawning. So come get it with it. Error. So shout her out. I'm talking about. She be getting it. So yeah. So give thanks everybody, and I will see y'all next strong. You know what I'm talking about? But here come Alien with Buzzby. I'm having a question. Why do you think the new special felt the need to antagonize BJ? Was it a cast issue? I thought it was a police thing where you have a guy accused of murder, and he got off, but you got a police instinct saying he did it. So I don't think it was a cast thing, because if it was a cast thing, he probably would have said it, and with no shade, you know what I'm saying, if you're an untouchable, they'll just call you, an untouchable or whatever, and bring that up, or if you, if you're a Muslim, something like that, or a Hindu, depending on, or whatever, or even where you're from, they'll bring it up. They'll use that as a scarlet letter on you. You know what I'm talking about? But I thought it was a police instinct. When he did that. I didn't think that was a cast issue. Yeah, BJ also stood up to the corruption. And I'm shaking down the people in the community. Like I say, it was stand up guy in the community. So of course, what I'm talking about. He was getting it. Yeah, it was interesting that he was similar and looked those in in the Tamil region. Look, just look it up. Just look it up, because look, we were there. We were there. Hindu Kush, just up north. We weren't just in the Hindu Kush. We was in the south. We was in the south too. When but I'm telling you, we was in the south. Even the Ethiopians was in the south, getting there as mercenaries. So yeah, so yeah, we were there, or some of us was there. Actually, getting it, getting in rank too. You know, so yeah, we were there. It's so yeah, missed that, missed that part. Yeah. Um, well, you had a new inspector, someone transferring, and then you actually had a new chief inspector. So yeah. Um, but yeah, like I say, um, uh, dang on bots. So once the bots come, it's time to go. So dang. Like I say, once the bots come, it's time to go. But give thanks everybody. We see you next strong. You know what I'm saying, for War of the Worlds. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm out. Give thanks and peace.